Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another third-party unlicensed 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review video. Now today we are going to be taking a look at the Daftoys Mr. Alfred, aka Alfred Pennyworth, played by Caine in the Dark Knight trilogy. Now I personally have been pretty darn excited to get this guy in hand. I own the Hot Toys one, and I've been curious to see how this guy stacks up. Now I got mine from Comic Sanctorum. Do bear in mind though, this is third party, meaning it's an unofficial product. This is by no means a promotional video, this is a review on a figure I picked up for my own personal collection. What we are going to do now though is get the box laying flat in the light box and do the unboxing. Here of course we have the box art, and this might just be one of the largest boxes I've ever received from Daftoys. And I think you're about to find out why in just a second. On the front we do have a couple of images of Caine as Alfred, the Dark Knight trilogy logo on the side, and on the back a very classy piece of artwork. You have the Batman symbol, but it's split into three different images. One meant to represent Batman Begins, the Dark Knight in the center, and the Dark Knight Rises on the other side. Now, as I said in the intro, I'm pretty curious to get this guy out here. We will of course be doing comparisons back to the Hot Toys one, and we'll be finding out if Daftoys have been cheeky and recasted that Hot Toys head sculpt. I'm hoping they haven't, and I'm hoping we have a brand new sculpt here, but only time will tell as we work our way through the video. Up top we do have one foam block, and another down below. And I don't know about you, but I think we've spotted the culprit as to why the box is as big as it is. What we are going to do now though is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Here we have all the parts and pieces. Now starting off with the display base first, as I said earlier, this is the culprit for why the box is as big as it is. I don't exactly know why Alfred is coming with this big diorama display base, but I'm not complaining, I really like the way it looks. It's rather large and oversized, but that means we can place Alfred and Bruce Wayne on the same base. Now, the best part about this is that it doesn't just look like wood, it actually is made of real wood. This wood grain isn't sculpted in, it's actually part of the material itself. It's all properly nailed together, and it's a nice chunky sturdy base. You also have some black velvet underneath so it should grip onto your cabinet, and then a regular crotch grabber up top. Now it is a little bit loose in the crevice that they've made for it, but it should still hold up your Alfred perfectly fine. Now you do get a couple of different interchangeable outfit options in the form of a long winter jacket and a suit jacket. Don't worry, you will see these on him a little bit later on. Now, as I said in the intro, I'm curious to see if Daftoys borrowed this head sculpt, and I'm pleased to report they didn't, much to my surprise, because Daftoys have done that in the past, but it's a brand new sculpt. I mean, you can tell by looking at the ears on the Hot Toys one, the way the eyes have been sculpted, the nose, and the Adam's apple. The Daftoys one is all new. And surprisingly, I actually prefer it over the Hot Toys one. Now it could be down to the paint applications, the Daftoys one looks a little bit more alive, especially in the eyes. I don't know what Hot Toys were thinking with these off-white milky eyes. The Daftoys one, in my opinion, looks way better. Now the skin tone and texture on the Hot Toys one does look superior, and so too does the hair. At the end of the day, it's going to be down to personal preference, but for me, I'm leaning towards Daftoys. You do get a real metal pair of glasses, but there is no actual glass in the lenses. Once again, you'll see those on him a little bit later on. Now, so Alfred can do the butler thing, he does come with a tray. Now, you do get a couple of different parts and pieces that you can pop on the tray, and it's very modular. It's not like anything is locked down. You do get a bottle of orange juice that's made in this transparent plastic with yellow on the inside, a teacup with a saucer, and then a bowl of what appears to be fruit and granola. Plus, I think that's a little pot of coffee. To go along with that, though, you also get a glass of milk, a bowl that's rather large, and then a plate as well. And then, to top it all off, you get some real metal cutlery. This is the first time I've ever had 1/6 scale metal cutlery, so I'll definitely be having Alfred displayed holding that tray with as much stuff on it as possible. Now, as for the hands, he does come with the full array, and these aren't your usual cheap and nasty third-party hands. They actually have some shading and wrinkling and skin texture. They look quite high quality. What we are going to do now, though, is get Alfred himself out here and take a closer look. Here we have him standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that, and I'm really happy with how this guy turned out. Now, Alfred isn't really at the top of my list for wants from the Dark Knight trilogy, because we already have the Hot Toys one, and for the most part, I was really happy with him. But Daftoys have really impressed me here. Not just because they've done a brand new head sculpt, but because they've done a couple of things with the body to get it looking as accurate as possible. Plus, they continue to impress me with how good their tailoring is. It always hugs the body in all the right places and looks very natural. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. What we are going to do now, though, is take him off the rotating turntable, punch in, and take a closer look at the details. Here we have him up close and personal. Now, in just a second, we will be popping on the various alternate outfit options just to check out what the different looks actually look like. I haven't decided which way I'm going to go as of yet, but for now, I'm leaning towards this one. This particular outfit is based off his appearance in The Dark Knight Rises. I went and checked some screen grabs, and for the most part, it looks bang on accurate. Except for the tie. It's ever so slightly too vibrant, but for me, I can totally get around that. I still really like the way this looks. Now, initially, I thought this figure was going to be super basic. Just a regular stock body and a business suit of sorts over the top. Now, yes, it is a stock body and this is a business suit, but they've taken it a little bit further. Underneath the suit, there is a ton of padding in some very key sections, so he does have an accurate physique to Michael Caine as Alfred in the Dark Knight trilogy. They absolutely could have skipped this and just used that stock body, but I'm glad they didn't. That means this guy now looks super accurate and way more realistic. I'm also pleased to report that the head sculpt fits on the body perfectly. It doesn't sit too high, the neck isn't too narrow, and it's not too thick. It fills out the collar very well. Now, he is wearing his glasses, and I'm going to be totally honest. These I don't love. They are wireframe and metal, as we spoke about earlier, but they look a little bit goofy. So in my display, I'm just going to be going without. Now, as for his upper torso, he is wearing a blue jumper. It's a nice soft fabric, and it will get out of the way when it comes to posing, and you do have a couple of press studs up the front. Thank goodness, Daftoys, I know you like to use real buttons, but I'm so glad that you didn't here. Underneath that, he has a black suit vest, then his purple/red tie, and a white business shirt. Now, coming down to his pants, they are super straightforward. Literally just some black suit pants, and then some black business shoes down below. You have a little bit of texture sculpted in underneath, including some sections where the nails would actually hold in the back of his heel. You also have some sculpted detail up on top, and yes, he is wearing some black socks. But if you are wondering what he looks like in the other outfit, Here we have it. Now this is a proper complete 3-piece suit plus the outer jacket. Now for me, this more closely mimics what we got from Hot Toys, so I'm going to steer away from it. I'm going to go with the blue jumper because it's something new and something different. Plus, it's still accurate to The Dark Knight Rises. Now, where this outfit starts to look potentially a little bit worse than the other is that because they've added so much padding around the trap area to make him look true to form in the jumper, when you start to add one layer over the other, it gets a little bit bulky up here, which means his neck starts to look shorter and shorter. Now, you could argue that that's perfectly accurate, because you are adding multiple layers, his neck would look slightly shorter. But in 1/6 scale, these fabrics are a little bit thick, so they do add slightly too much bulk for me. If you're fine with it, I totally understand, and absolutely go for this look in your display, but for me, the other look is the preferred option. Now, you do have some real buttons on the suit jacket, so you can do it up if you so choose. There aren't any buttons on the outer jacket, but it can't quite come all the way around the body anyway, just due to all of the padding. But for me, the other option is the way to go. Do let me know which one is your favorite down in the comments below. Now for a quick side-by-side comparison, here we have the Daftoys Alfred on the left and the Hot Toys Alfred on the right. And as you can see, there is a significant size difference here. The Hot Toys Alfred was released in 2014, back in the day when they would even entertain the idea of making an Alfred, and they were using slightly smaller scaled bodies. If they were to make a new one nowadays, he would be a little bit taller. But if this doesn't work for you, I totally understand. Most of the figures from back in the day in that Dark Knight trilogy lineup were smaller in scale. Now Hot Toys are going back and remaking some of them. They will be larger, so the new Daftoys one can fit in with them. It's just overall a pretty weird situation, because no matter which way you look at it, some figures are going to be too small and others are going to be too big, until they eventually work their way through all of the characters and do 2.0s for everyone in the line. For now though, my preferred option for Alfred has to be the Daftoys one. The suit looks better, I think the proportions look better, and I prefer the head sculpt. But at the end of the day, it's all down to personal preference. Next up, here we have the Hot Toys Bruce Wayne. Now, for full transparency, I have switched the body with the World Box one, and I think he looks way better. I've also given him accurate brown shoes, and now this might just be one of my favourite Bruce Wayne figures in the collection. But as you can see, he is shorter than Alfred. Now, initially I thought, whoa, isn't this way off? But I did some research, and it turns out it isn't. Michael Caine is almost 6'2", and Christian Bale is 6 foot, so this height difference is pretty darn accurate. Again though, if it doesn't work for you, I totally understand. The Hot Toys Alfred is almost the same height as this Bruce Wayne, which will work for most people, but for me, I'm all about getting stuff accurate, so I'm really happy that they took the time and made Alfred just a little bit taller. Just going over articulation. Now, bear in mind, this is my personal copy of the figure, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful. I'm sure when you get yours in hand, you can push the joints slightly further than I am willing to go. Now, starting off with the head sculpt, it is on a fixed neck, meaning there's a ball joint at the base of the neck itself. Looking forward and back, swivel and pivot side to side. The arms will go up to there, they will go forward and back on incredibly stiff and squeaky joints. Butterfly up at the shoulder that hinges up and down and also goes forward and back. Swivel at the bicep, a double bend at the elbow, plus a regular 1/6 scale wrist peg. You do have a crunch forward and back at the torso and also at the waist. However, there is a ton of padding in the body to give him his portly physique, so it is a little bit more restricted. Swivel and pivot side to side. The legs will go forward to there before the padding on the thigh starts to fight you. They will go out to there. Swivel at the upper thigh. A ratcheted double bend at the knee. and of course a double ball peg down here for the ankle. Just wrapping up on the Daftoys Dark Knight Trilogy Alfred. Now going into this, I was excited but not overly so. I mean, let's be totally honest. Alfred is a very important character to the Batman story, but he doesn't make for the most dynamic action figure. But he does make for a very classy one. Plus, Daftoys have given you a bunch of really awesome Alfred-specific accessories and the massive diorama display base made of real wood. So if you have the Hot Toys Bruce Wayne, you can have him and Alfred both standing on that base as the centerpiece to your Dark Knight Trilogy display, which I'm super tempted to do. As for Alfred himself, I love the choice of body. It's sturdy, it's the right height, and it's padded in all of the right places to give him the actual Alfred physique. You also get a very nicely tailored outfit. That is one of Daftoys' biggest strengths. Now, if you do put on the suit jacket and the long winter jacket, then yes, he will look a little bit bulky. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide whether or not that's the look you're going to go with in your collection. For me, I'm going with the jumper, cause that's just the look I like best. But on top of all of that, they've given us what I think might just be the best Michael Caine head sculpt in 1/6 scale. It is stunning. I think it's better than the Hot Toys one. It looks just like him, and the paint applications are crisp and clean. The only area where the Hot Toys one edges this one out ever so slightly is in the skin texture. There is skin texture here, but with the Hot Toys one there is just more of it. At the end of the day though, if you have the Hot Toys Alfred, picking up another one is going to be a bit of a tough pill to swallow, just to get those accessories and an updated head sculpt. But in my opinion, it's absolutely worth it. This guy is great. Now, I got mine from Comic Sanctorum, but do bear in mind, this is a third-party, unlicensed, unofficial figure. I have put the link in the description below for your reference purposes only. This is by no means a promotional video, this is a review on an Alfred I picked up for my own personal collection. While you're down in the description, why not check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.